Alright, what's up, guys? Mr. Bloombarrow here. We got, as I promised, a new guest at the podcast in Crop Circle Studios here in Palmview, Texas. And we'll go ahead and let himself introduce himself.
Hey guys, John Caliber here of Raging Thrill. Thank you for having me.
No problem, bro. Well, one of the reasons that I wanted to invite you over is because we have a upcoming show in Laredo, but besides that, you have a real explosive way of promoting video blogs for your upcoming show. So, you know, you have that kind of promotion charisma that people tend to look for, so that's why I'm like, all right, we can.
Yeah,
he's a good guest,
Yeah.
So
about those promo vlogs, we basically like to not take ourselves too seriously. It's we wanted to do a little bit of a creative take towards promoting. I mean, you see, there's some sort of little bit of an issue sometimes where either bands don't promote and things like that, and you got promoters telling all of us to promote and push it hard and things of that nature. That's
a huge, sorry to interrupt, but that's a huge fucking a fucking war, like constant war back and forth. Promote this, book us, promote this, book us,
Yeah. What we like to do is whatever show we do with whomever we're playing it for, because of course without promoters and without like people booking, there's really no scene going on. So definitely thanks to all the people that have ever booked us or promoted and things of that nature. But for sure, basically what we like to do is we wanted to branch off and do it our own way, to be able to push these shows and keep it entertaining and fun. Obviously I can't go crazy here because I'll blow up the mic, but but it's definitely an experience. We like to have fun with it, do our little twists and turns with it, and definitely try to find a unique way to push and promote shows. I'm not saying we're the first or the only ones to do it in such a way, but we definitely like to have a lot of fun while we do this.
Yeah, and we were actually talking about me and you were talking about this, maybe not, actually 3 minutes ago, that it's getting promoters and bands are getting lazy, where they're just pressing a button, bro, and sharing the event page, just one button, and they think that they've done all the legwork, and
Yeah. I mean, for sure, and I know we were talking about that a couple of minutes ago, right before we started. It's not just about pressing a button. I guess it could be if that's your thing or you're rolling with it. But I mean, there's so much more you can do. You can tag friends. You can invite friends to the event pages. Yeah. I mean, they're there for a reason. There's a lot of hard work that goes into flyers. I know you were showing me the flyer that you're working on for the Laredo show that we've got coming up, and it's looking pretty damn intense. I don't know how any of y'all do it to get that stuff done, because that's something that's not even in my ability, I guess you could say, or even patience range. But it's a lot of work, and it's things that should get pushed and promoted a lot more. And I mean, I definitely would encourage bands that aren't already doing it to find inventive ways and creative ways of making it fun and entertaining. I know that there's bands that they'll meme themselves and stuff like that, and I mean, even that's awesome. That's pretty creative in itself, and that's pretty cool too.
You always, of any kind of creative concepts that you make, you're always gonna have a small amount of fans in each department,
Yeah, for sure. Individuality is really what it comes down to. I mean, find your muse and stick to it and push it and just keep on going and keep doing it. Definitely more than just press a button of share.
Yeah, that's but I mean, everyone has its own way of promoting, but I would really like if promoters and bands started doing videos, because if you look through any social media, and if you want to find something interesting, it's gonna be video or not. You're scrolling through the news feed, and you stop at a video or not?
Yeah, for sure. Especially because right now, even I still don't understand where this is coming from, but it's becoming to the point where even like things that should be pictures are becoming videos now.
Yeah, like like everything it's video. Like that's why I instantly picked it up and I adapted to it, and I'm like, all right, either evolve or become extinct, because you know that's really and the only way. I mean, you're still gonna be in the mix, but not in the media.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely. You got to evolve with the changing times and whatever it's calling for. Keep it true to yourself. I mean, like I said prior, keep it like find your individual take on what's going wrong right now, because it's just it's the only way to go. If you stumble upon something that you're like, oh, so this is where it's going now, find a way to make it your own. Don't be like, oh, I'm gonna be a sellout and just do exactly what it is, but find a way to make it your own and just go from there. You know, I've never been a huge fan of like bands that are like, oh well, I'm good. I'm this, and I'm gonna take myself too seriously. Like personally, we like to have a good time and rock and roll, man. And really, that's all it ends up coming down to. Really, just having a good time and having fun. At least, again, that's essentially my ultimate point: is just having a good time, rocking and rolling. And you know, well, not everyone's gonna agree with it. There's gonna be people that are gonna be like, oh, dude, like these guys are being stupid, and it's kind of like, well, maybe, but we had a hell of a blast. And I don't know about you, but the last time I went out and had a good time, I mean, it wasn't all smart and stuff decisions. It was making some dumb things and having a good time and having fun, man. That I think that's something that a lot of us have seemed to have forgotten about. Just having a good time.
Yeah, that's true. Well, first of all, I'd like to thank you. We went on,
off tangent there.
It doesn't matter. Like it's perfectly.
It's all good.
It's okay. That's what we're here for, to discuss what's going on with the music community and shit. So I want to thank you, bro, for coming in. I know you live pretty far away, not that far, but what city are you guys from?
The band is based out of Edinburgh, Texas. But essentially we're all over the place, really.
like where each member where are they from? I
mean, it stems off from Westlaco, McAllen, and Edinburgh. Like the whole band lives all over the place. Constantly moving as well, some of us, so it's really hard to stem it off from. But essentially, we just call it off in the Edinburgh area because that's like the middle ground for all of us, really.
Cool. How long have you guys been a band, bro? And where did the name Raging Thrill come about?
Well, I see how that I can answer that in two different ways, because essentially, Raging Thrill started officially in around, like, as the name Raging Thrill, it started in 2011, but the original members were myself and Arian Caliber, who is my cousin, and we started playing in around 2007, trying to start off what would later on become Raging Thrill. Back in the day, we were going by the resurrected name of Shadow Bullet, which is actually a name that I had incepted in my first band in 2005. Long story short, the lineup has changed a few times throughout the process. Basically, the way that we've always survived is just whatever the hell happens, just keep on going and keep on rocking, man. Keep it alive is essentially what it's come down to. And we've all gone through our fair share of drama and heartbreaks and things of that nature, things that everybody goes through.
Yeah.
But essentially, as Raging Thrill, the original lineup with the name came about in about 2011. And the way that we came up with that name was Raging Thrill was actually me and Arian Caliber having a discussion one night over the phone. And I remember, and it's funny because it shouldn't even make sense, I guess, but I was on my way to take a piss while we were having this discussion. And I was thinking, like, dude, something that can describe, like, the music that we play. And then I was like, something raging. And then Arian was like, so something like a thrill. And I was like, dude, I think we've got it. Like, if you put them together. And he was like, what do you mean? I was like, dude, Raging Thrill. And he was like, dude, yeah, that fucking works. And essentially from then on out, we were like, dude, okay, that's the name of the band, Raging Thrill. And then after that, I got to work on the logo for it, and that's the logo that we have actually now on our t-shirts, finally, after like forever. It's also our profile pic on our band page, facebook.com/raging-thrill. Anyway.
What other social media are you guys at? Go ahead and say them, bro. Go ahead and say them.
We are on Facebook. We're also on SoundCloud. We created a... What was that? Damn, dude. I don't even know if people still use that, but I forgot the name for it.
Pure Volume?
Reverb Nation, sorry.
Reverb Nation.
Reverb Nation, back when that was still a thing. But we kind of stopped posting on there and just went straight to SoundCloud, seeing as how that became like one of the major sources back when we were doing what we were doing. We've been posting all of our tracks on SoundCloud now, and it's also available there, which is soundcloud.com/raging-thrill. It takes you straight to our music and our trajectory since we started, from some recordings that we did off of our own selves from GarageBand to our later tracks where we started recording with actual people.
I actually heard 3 songs, 3 tracks. You showed me 3 tracks like 2 days ago.
Yeah, those were the latest ones.
Cool.
Yeah, and they're on there on SoundCloud. If you go to soundcloud.com and you just like, the first track that pops up is Reckless Wasteland, which is our most recent track, but that one goes back to 2015. We've still been composing and playing new stuff, but that's usually reserved for on stage because we haven't recorded. We're gonna record in Laredo on the 2nd and the 3rd before our show, and we're gonna go and record that. We're gonna knock that shit out in like about 2 days. And I don't know how long it'll take before it's like mixed and mastered, but we've got some new songs on there that we're gonna be able to produce, and also some old songs that haven't been recorded yet that people only hear live.
That's fucking badass, man.
We're very excited about that.
That's cool. All right, question number 3, bro. Members. Go ahead and name your members and what each member does.
As of right now, as of today,
like your current lineup,
it's pretty interesting because one thing I take pride in, and a lot of people will be like, well, that's unprofessional. Well, we never claimed to be professionals, so fuck that, right? But we'll do lineups of 3 people or 4 people, which is the full band setup. But right now, as of today, the full lineup stands with me, John Caliber, of course, on main guitar, which is usually most leads. And main vocals for sure. We've got Aaron Caliber on rhythm guitar, the occasional leads, and we've got Nate Caliber on bass, and doing some background vocals whenever the mics are available. You know, we adapt to the situations, and some guys only have 1 mic ready to go. Sometimes they've got the 2. It just depends on the night. And right now, currently, we've got Batman on our as our drummer.
What's that the one with the mask?
The one with the masks. He always likes to stay in the dark, as the name would probably entice. He usually Shout out to Batman. He usually doesn't come out in the videos. He either records them or literally runs away before we have to record. It's really hard to get that guy on camera unless it's at a show. So a lot of people don't even know he's in the band. They're like, who's your drummer? We're like, dude, that guy right there that just played. And they're like, who's him? It's like, dude, that's Batman. And they're like, oh, that guy, dude, hell yeah. Like, suddenly they realize who he is. Like, he's known, but since he doesn't really promote himself or like push himself in videos, it's really hard to get a hold of him. So if you can get a picture with the guy, I don't know, it might be worth something someday.
Cool, man.
But he does some badass drumming, man. That's really cool.
I saw the last time we played together at Flying Waters in McAllen. I was checking y'all's set, and then I looked down to look at my phone, and then I look up, and then y'all changed positions when I'm like, wait, one of you guys was over here, and then I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm like, alright, cool, it's cool. You guys are like real diverse and your instruments, man. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, what ended up happening there, we have a song in our lineup right now. It's Evil Pleasure, which
alright, we had a minor interruption. It was some party utensils from our sponsor. But alright, yeah, back to back to the members. We were at with
The Switcheroos.
Switcheroos.
Yeah.
So
Well, like I was saying, like we like that was a particular song, "It's Evil Pleasure," that we tend to we switch it up a bit, and we put our drummer likes to. He does his own little version of like either growling or screeching. I'm not too familiar with it, but it works with the song. So one of the cool things, like I was saying earlier, sometimes we play as a 3-piece, sometimes we play as a 4-piece. The full setup is a 4-piece, but every now and then, whenever like a bandmate can't make it, we try to make it work either way. Because the one thing we hate to do is cancel shows. Like it's in the 7-8 years that we've been doing this together, like we've only ever had to cancel like maybe 1 or 2 shows, and it's always been because of emergencies, whether because of a blown out tire and things of that.
yeah.
But once we book a show, we're almost guaranteed to be there. And pretty much that's what ends up happening. So the cool thing about that, though, is that we get to have fun and you get different sounds. Like, even if we're playing the same song, you'll never get the same sound twice. Because we'll either have Batman, like, rocking it out, or we'll have Arian on drums, which is also, I forgot to mention, Arian Caliber also plays drums, and he does a really good job with it. But he's got more of a groove, and then you've got Batman, which has got more of a punch. So regardless of whatever song we're playing, you're always going to get this awesome sound, different sounding type of thing. And we play them differently. They sound differently regardless of what, depending on who's playing it. But whenever the 4 of us are together, we like to switch it up a bit. So the one that you heard was Evil Pleasure, and that's when we put Batman on vocals and Arian Caliber takes over on drums, and then you just get this awesome, like, completely different song where you're like, wait, are these still the same guys or what? We've actually gotten that before where they're like, we thought this was a band, and then like something else happened and y'all switched it up, and it was like, wait, what the hell just happened?
Yeah, I was one of those.
And I was like, yeah, dude, and we'll do that. Like we like to switch it up and just keep it entertaining, man, and keep it fun. And again, you know, we like to surprise and give you, you know, like what is it called? What you could call like 2 or 3 for the price of 1.
So we got John Caliber as vocals, lead guitar, Aaron Caliber as rhythm,
and but occasional leads. But then he also jumps on drums. So
and bassist
Nate Caliber, he does basses and he does background vocals for sure.
Background vocals. And Batman as drummer. Right?
Batman as drums, and every now and then we put him on vocals, so that's always fun.
Badass, that's cool, man. Y'all have your little switching back and forth. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, we like to have fun like that.
Yeah. Alright, question number 4. What is the name of your latest material? And what does that song, or each of whatever kind of material you guys have, is there a symbolic meaning or a specific meaning behind it?
We're touching sensitive territory, but definitely willing to talk about it. The last song that we recorded in studio was Reckless Wasteland, and we did this one with Noonday Studios by Larry Lozano. Shout out.
Jinx.
Shout out to Larry. He did an amazing job with it. We went in there with like a version of it, and then once we got in there, this guy was like, well, why don't you guys try this, why don't you guys try that, and we ended up having like this awesome freaking recording. But it's so hard to replicate live because we've got it's got a piano or a keyboard in there. And it's so hard because even the piano recording of it was kind of it was a bit of like an orchestraic type sound. Okay. So it's really hard to replicate live because, well, we don't have a keyboardist or a full-time keyboardist anyway within the band. So what we end up doing is kind of like
searching keyboardist for Raging Through.
Right, full-time keyboardist for Raging Through, looking for somebody who can handle that.
We'll go ahead and put it in the search engine right now.
For sure. And then well, it's an amazing recording. If you haven't checked it out, Reckless Wasteland is one of the ones that you're going to want to check out. And it's the first one that pops out on our SoundCloud. The reason you might want to hear that song is because that's the studio concept. And then we play it a certain way live where it's different. So you got two versions of this song, and I mean, only like the biggest fans would know the difference between the two, but they're both great. You got the live version of it, and then you have that studio like wow version of it, and Larry Lozano plays the last solo. The way that ended up happening was that we went in there and we recorded the track, and then at the end of it we were like, he was like, well, do you guys have a solo for the ending? And I was like, well, you know what, it's not really rehearsed. No, not really. And then he was like, would you mind if I stepped in? And I was like, hell yeah. So he went in there, man, and he killed it, dude. Like, he freaking put me to shame. I was like, damn, dude. And he goes in there, and he just nails it every time, which let me know that he totally understood what we were, like, going for. So that last final solo that he does, I still to this day can't replicate it. So, like, wow. But in the recording, it sounds so cool. The live version doesn't fall too far behind, though. It's a really cool version, too. But yeah, dude, shout out to Larry Lozano for jumping on last minute and creating a solo in less than an hour. Like, holy hell, who the hell does that, man? And this guy just comes in and it's kind of like, okay, I think I got this. And it's just freaking like in like 2-3 takes, boom, he's got it. And I was like, wow, that is crazy. And Reckless Wasteland
Bloom
actually.
or what? I'm like Bloom or what? I'm not even a guitarist.
And well, that song, Reckless Wasteland, I was going through a really, really deep low at that point. And the lyrics came to me. I composed a song almost a year before in 2014, but we didn't record it to 2015. And the lyrics, I composed them on a very dark night of mine. Details withheld. But essentially, I composed it within an hour after I went through something very traumatic.
Are you picky with your lyrics?
Yes, very. I put a lot of thought into them, actually. We'll get to that in a second, I guess. But essentially, that song was written... The lyrics were written within an hour after I went through what I went through. And the rest is history. Reckless Wasteland. That I didn't even have a name for the song till that happened. And it took me less than an hour to compose the lyrics. And what you hear in the recording and even live...
Did you come up with the lyrics first or the title first?
Lyrics first.
Oh, right.
And from the lyrics is where I finally realized what the name was going to be. In fact, within the lyrics, you don't even hear the title. The title, you know how a lot of bands, like, the title's usually like some catchy chorus line or something like that?
Yeah.
Reckless Wasteland does not, in any of the lyrics, mention Reckless Wasteland.
Those are good songs, and you have to be real creative if the title name's not in the song. So, this chair sounds like if I'm farting. Alright. No frills. Alright. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and continue. We're at number 5. Moment number 5. Let's go ahead and hear your theory and your take on the nickname Caliber. How did you guys decide? Or, you know?
Yeah, that's a really random one, really, because essentially, the Caliber name came from our love for guns, but seeing as how that was already overplayed and very overdone, we really wanted to just kind of like find something to identify ourselves with. And at the end of the day, guns don't kill people, bullets do. So we started thinking about, my personal love for guns, and then also the idea that how fast a bullet travels, and started thinking about it in terms of the music, how energy filled it is, and how much of a ride life can be. And life can ride as fast as a bullet, man. Live fast, die young type thing. And essentially it just kind of stemmed from that. I guess it was a shorter story than I thought. There you go.
Alright, there you go. Cool. Alright, well, when I was hearing you guys' material live plus the latest tracks you showed me a couple of days ago, I was trying to label you, but I couldn't. You know, I was like, and then I was like, okay, and then I thought I had the answer, and then something else, like a different part of the song came in, and then I stopped. I'm like, wait, you know, I kept readjusting my answer, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
And I was like, it's like an old school sound with a modern twist, you know. So
yeah, well, we get that a lot, especially from like our good friends, and definitely some of the promoter people that have heard us play. We've asked, well, what are we? What do you think we are? Because when we went into this, we never were really thinking about what sound we wanted. We just wanted it to sound natural, you know. We wanted to be ourselves and just perform. But as time went on, we found out that we get that a lot. It's like, oh, it's like an old school sound, but it's with like a modern twist. Just where are you guys? And no one could answer it. We couldn't answer it, and then we just ended up coming up with our own fucking label. And we were like, we're adrenaline metal. We're adrenaline pumping.
So go ahead and describe that. Your take on that.
The term adrenaline metal came from the idea that, I mean, we can't really be put into hard rock. We can't really be put into like metal, because nowadays people think metal. People think like hardcore, like this awesome fucking the heart thumping sound, like the Final Burial, which is, you know.
Thanks.
People think hardcore metal and stuff like that, and they think people like that, like the Final Burial, where it's like, holy hell, like, wow. And dude, I saw your performance and I was like, wow. So I get it. Like,
thanks, bro. You guys too. You guys put on a good show, man.
It's like we can't. We're definitely not that. Like, we can't be that. Like, there's no way. Like, even if we try it in a million years, like, that's not.
No. But I mean, you guys bring something else to the table that people look for when they're going out to have a good time. You know.
Well, that's what we like to think. You know, like that the old school like saying, man, sex, drugs, and rock and roll, baby. I mean, I'm not saying go and do all those things, but essentially, like, we thought about it, and it's kind of like, man, we want to be like that needle that goes into your fucking vein and just like pumps you up with adrenaline. And we found that the whole idea of raging thrill came from the, like, you want to go in there, you want to have this raging thrill, like, you want to have this anger, this adrenaline, but you also want to have this good time, you know, that badass trip where you're like, hell yeah, man.
Yeah.
So we started coming up with that, and that's how kind of adrenaline metal was born. If you're not going to be able to label us, we'll fucking put it on ourselves. And essentially we just came up with our own little like subgenre, adrenaline metal.
Yeah, that's how genres start, bro. So don't be surprised if later on you guys be like, oh, look, these guys were the founders of adrenaline metal, you know.
Well, that's flattering, and thank you so much. That'd be pretty great. But for the time being, that's kind of what we go by. We're an adrenaline metal band.
That's, you know, hey man, like on my term and my take, we call ourselves Galactic Groove. So it's, you know, it's kind of like that.
Right. Yeah,
so,
for sure.
Hey, adrenaline metal, bro. It's, if that's your way, you know, that's the way you're thinking. Fuck it, man, because that's the way we think. So, hey, you know, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, the final one, the final question. Well, not the final, right, but number 7. As a fellow musician, I know the music is embedded within us, but does Raging Thrill have a message to society, or is it just musician commitment?
What we found over time is basically the following. You know, there's, whether people like to admit it or not, there's a lot of people that don't really listen to the lyrics. You know, and it sucks for people like Vocalists, because it's kind of like nobody gives a shit. And that's fine. If you're the kind of person that just likes to listen to music and just like listens to the tunes and stuff like that, we've got you, man. Our riffs are real like energetic, and you know, the whole adrenaline metal type thing. But if you're looking for something a little deeper, look no further than the lyrics themselves, at least for my band. The common theme that I've found apart from talking about myself, I like to keep it broad because I want people to be able to identify with it in their own terms. You know, I've never been a fan of people talking about something so specifically that somebody might feel alienated and be like, man, I know this song was for me, but now I find that the song's about this and stuff like that. It's like, nah, you know, I like to keep it to like the classics where you could hear a song and it could have a million meanings and you wouldn't know. But
True.
the singer knows what he or she is talking about at the time. So I like to express myself through the lyrics. And the common theme that I have found is that basically most of my lyrics are basically about the constant battle within oneself between the light and the dark. We're all born with a yin and a yang.
Yin and yang.
Yeah, we're all born with a yin and a yang. We're all born with a light and a darkness inside of us.
The beast, what they call.
And within us, it's we're constantly battling within ourselves. You know, who am I? What am I? And it eventually comes down to I can either be a really good person or I can be a horrible person. And sometimes you'll be an amazing person to one person, but to another one you'll be this nasty beast, like you said. You know, and honestly, it's just a constant battle within oneself between the light and the darkness within us. And a lot of the lyrics within the songs reflect that. Some songs cave into the darkness and some songs cave into the light, and it's just finding the constant balance, finding the balance between the two, because you can't always be good but you can't always be bad either. And a lot of my lyrics revolve around that. If you ever really want to pay attention to the lyrics, because I know that's something that not a lot of people really do. Sometimes they just want to go there and listen to the jams.
I think it's unless you're a lyricist or, you know, but the lyrics are like the cherry on top, bro, because name one of your favorite bands from the top of your head real quick.
For me, my biggest influence was Guns N' Roses.
Alright, you buy a Guns N' Roses album, right? What are you gonna do? You're gonna open up, pop the CD in, or MP3 or whatever, get the booklet, read the lyrics. Am I right?
Yeah, for sure.
So the lyrics are the last it's like the last step before you enjoy and you become a full-blown fan.
Yeah.
You get me?
Yeah, I get you.
And it's cool, like that's when you know you're a fan, bro, when you start looking into the lyrics, because the music's down. You got the music you're already jamming it, and, you know, everything, you're already, you know, into that fucking world, you know, into that dimension or whatever.
Yeah.
And once you start reading the lyrics with the music, you're already in the world. You're already in that planet of what they're trying to describe to you, you know, into that, and from the lyrics. I don't even get me.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, man, that's like, yeah, once the lyrics are done, that's it.
To me, the lyrics, like, at least for Raging Through, I always have the riffs before, because I am divided between being a guitarist and a singer. So it's
man,
like I don't have lyrics until
tough.
I have the riffs, because the riffs tell the story. So every single little lick, every single little riff that comes from me already has something in it. So what I like to do is I like to compose the song before the lyrics, and then I like to let the song in itself speak, and then I like to listen to it, hear it, and then try to find the words that those riffs are trying to say to me. So by the time the lyrics are done, the riff already spoke them. There's a nice balance in between, you know? And yes, I like to sing about my stuff and things that I've gone through and all of that, but I let essentially my lyrics come from the riff. The riff speaks louder than anything I could ever say. So essentially, that's kind of what it comes down to, and that's kind of what I like to do. At the end of the day, that's kind of what I think a lot of musicians do. There's people that write lyrics before they even have the verses and stuff like that. But at least on my end, I like to let the song speak to me, and then that's where I get my lyrics from. it can be based on something I've gone through, something I've been through, maybe even something I haven't gone through, but I try to let the song speak to me rather than me speak to the song.
Oh, okay. It's a pretty cool way of approaching the lyric world. Like me, I do that way once, or I get inspired by a subject and then go into that world and, you know, fill my thoughts as much as I can with it, get much as information as I can, up until I know that, oh, I can write about this. And then once the song is finished, the lyrics, if the music's done, I can start like fitting in.
Yeah.
And of course you're gonna cut and paste more lyrics, you know, when everything's finished. But yeah, your way it's a good way. It's a good way of approaching the lyric world.
I'd like to think that that's the balance that I have. I mean, if I'm gonna be playing guitar and singing, that's kind of how I like to mix it in together, and let it come together on its own organically. You know,
it's a challenge, bro. And
it's not easy all the time.
Yeah.
I feel you.
Yeah, like me when I'm playing live, I'm doing vocals plus playing the
ukulele. I'm kidding.
I wanted to say the triangle, but
nah, I'm kidding.
I couldn't think of another
just fucking around
instrument.
But yeah, man, that's kind of what it ends up coming down to. I know every musician has their own method depending on what they're doing within the band and things like that. But within my own self, like, I'm doing music, I'm composing, co-composing with Aaron Caliber, and then at the same time, you know, booking shows and all that stuff. I have to take care of like a lot of things. What I think is that a lot of musicians do the same. We're stuck doing a lot, you know, more than a lot. Like, you know, whenever you used to see like 80s bands, like they would just show up and do whatever the fuck they wanted. They could get away with so much, you know. But at this point in time, you know, we all got to take care of ourselves and each other, man, because it's not as like it was maybe back in the day where you could just bullshit your way around. You'd have somebody make your music for you and you'd just show up and perform.
Yeah.
It's not the same anymore. Right now, it's more important than ever that bands actually have to know a lot about marketing, PRing, being agents of their own bands and managing and stuff like that. Yeah. And let's face it, all these bands that, you know, are doing it right now, you can say you have like 6-7 members, but out of these 6-7 members, you got 1 or 2 people really trying to get that stuff done. Yeah. So I mean, that's the reality of it at this point. That's fine, perfectly okay. But yeah, like basically that's kind of what we do, and that's what everyone does. But yeah, man, like essentially, I've been quiet for too long. This is not what I'm used to, so I'm just gonna step away from the mic even more, even though I'm already like a foot or 2 feet away. We're gonna get back over here. Yeah, guys, it was John Caliber, motherfuckers, raging through. Yeah. That felt good.
That's Mr. Caliber from Raging Thrill. So go ahead and give your shout outs, bro. Like anybody you want to give a shout out to, like people you want to thank, promoters, family, friends. Man,
dude, all promoters deserve so much props. Like I don't even know where to begin. But definitely huge props out there to Events with Heart Productions.
Shout out Isaac.
Yeah, Isaac Vaughn doing all this stuff, man. And I'm not saying he's the only one or anything like that, but if I start mentioning every single promoter that has ever been out there doing so much for everybody.
Thank you to all the promoters for promoting all the local music.
Nah, man, because I could even go as far as to go like Fading Falling in Harlingen area. John Alcocer, who's another huge guy right now that's doing a lot. Man, even Louis Blunt's right now, man. That guy's fucking working hardcore, man.
Shout out to Louis Blunt's Criminal Nation.
Yeah, dude, Criminal Nation, brother. There's a lot, dude.
There's a lot of good promoters, and
Ed Vomit, who's doing the Metal Monthly.
yeah, we've got him booked. Shout out, bro.
Yeah, there's a lot of people out there that are very highly appreciated. You know, maybe we don't show it enough a lot because, you know, we're all so busy taking care of the shows that we're playing and stuff like that. But props to anybody and everybody.
Shout out to all the promoters, Adam Valley, Dirty South Productions, everybody.
What was it? Valley Texas Hardcore.
VTC.
All these guys that are working so hard. Thank you to everybody and all in each and every single one of you. Because without you, we would not have a scene. So thank you guys all so much. If we all forgot to mention anybody, we do apologize. But again, thank you
all.
I
forgot somebody, sorry. Your social medias for your band?
Social medias on my end are from Raging Thrill. It's facebook.com/raging-thrill, soundcloud.com/raging-thrill. Just look us up, give us a little like on Facebook and SoundCloud. Also check out our jams. Our newer jams won't be ready till I'm really not sure when. We're gonna knock them out in 2 days on September 2nd and 3rd in Laredo, and from there on out we'll keep you posted on our band page, also on my personal page. If I see you like the page, the band page, Raging Thrill, I'll definitely send you a friend request and we'll go from there. We look very much forward to seeing you guys at the shows. If not, you know, supporting. We also go live a lot on Facebook. We go from like beginning of our set to the end, because our biggest thing is I'm gonna go into the whole yeah. If you can't get to the show, we're bringing the show to you guys, motherfuckers. Hell yeah! You know, stuff like that.
I like when you do that shit, bro. It's badass.
And it kind of comes down to that, man. If people can't make the shows, there's no reason why they should miss them.
Yeah.
You know, there's people that can't. You know, and I love when I see bands going live, man. Because it's like, you know, maybe I couldn't make the show. Maybe somebody that has a kid and a wife, you know, they have to wake up at 6, 7 in the morning because they have to go to work. Yep. But they like bands, you know, they like rock and roll. So nobody should get excluded. So if you can make the show, you know, at least Raging Thrill is gonna go live as much as we can, just for you guys. We want you guys to know about that.
We do that too. Yeah, that's a great another take to do when promoting wise, you know, going live, because some, like you said, some fans can't make it out and they still want to see, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, man. Again, bro, I want to thank you for coming into Crop Circle Studios and sharing some of your Raging Thrill legacy and giving us your info and your background.
But dude, it's an honor being here, and thank you for having me. And even though it's always gonna be 2 in the morning, man, you know. Yeah,
it's about to be 2 in the morning. You can hear my neighbors' roosters and dogs and shit. So
it's really awesome being here. So thank you again for having me. It's an honor. And of course, we're gonna be sharing the stage pretty soon, so that should be fun as hell.
We're actually gonna
hitting the road
soon and heading to the raid on September 9th. So for all you fans, go ahead and start getting your bags ready to do a small road trip.
We got vehicles. We need people. If you want to go with us, man. It doesn't matter to us. Let's do this.
So, Raging Thrill, I want to thank you, bro, for stopping by the studio.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
Bloom Burial and
John Caliber from Raging Thrill. Rock the fuck on, man! Yay! Yeah!
Alright, peace.